hello there, Seraphim 17 once again. This is Zoe 2, this is Extreme, and this is the Anubis fight post-inhert. So, you cannot win this fight, and you can die, so you need to be careful. But generally, I think you need to hit Anubis 3 or 4 times. The best way to do it is to dash attack him. He has a lot of trouble blocking dash attacks for some reason, and you can literally just spam dash and spam attack when you're close to him, and Jehati will dash back and forth, coming in with attacks, and just close the distance, because if you're close to him, he'll start meleeing you, and if you dash around attacking, you'll probably get through his guard, and eventually it'll do this, and it'll end it. So, that's only 47 seconds, but that took me 4 or 5 attempts, because Anubis is very strong on Extreme, and he can kill you, so you want to be really careful. But this is one of the more famous set pieces from the game, which is the Skies of Vascillia, and this is the battle above that territory. It's got some fantastic music as well. So, fundamentally, this is easy, but there are a couple of elements that make it so that you could die if you get unlucky. The first one is you have to take down 5 Baron battleships before you get a checkpoint. You can take down 4 of them, beyond the 5th one, die, and you've got to do them all again. So the first thing you need to do is do not get frustrated. Do not, don't even think about it. Just think, 5 down, 5, got to kill 5. That's all you've got to think. They get systematically more difficult with more reinforcements per ship, more turrets, more missile pods, all that kind of stuff. The things you need to bear in mind, when you're travelling from one ship to another, or when you're flying around a ship, the other ones in the armada can shoot at you with the beam cannon. If you get hit by the beam cannon when it says danger, like I just nearly did right then, I guarantee you it'll probably one-shot you. Do not fuck with the beam cannons at all. These turrets underneath, watch when this thing hits me. I think it hits me once, but watch the damage it does. It might not be this turret. It might be later on, because there's 2 turrets on the underside, and then later on there's 2 turrets on the underside and 2 turrets on the top. So just be aware. The order you want to go is you want to destroy all the enemies in the air first with missiles, because now we have homing missiles. It's the most broken sub-weapon on the game. It's fantastic. Once you've done that, you want to go for the turrets. Then when you want to destroy the beam cannon, then you want to vector cannon the back of the ship. That is pretty much all you need to do. You can shoot the weapons on the front, you can have fun blowing up bits of the battle station, but you don't have to. And the longer you dilly-dally, the more chance you are you're going to get hit and get killed. Because everything hurts a lot more than it used to. And, one silly mistake, literally a bad lock-on can put you with your back to a burst of gunfire. You can tank all the hits and die. Especially from those turrets that are on the underside and on the top side later on. So powerful, guys, they really are. That is, see that line? Get off that line. That means you're going to get shot by the beam cannon of the other stations. Very gay. And how the hell do I lock on to the other battle station from here? That just goes to show how bad the lock-on on this game is. But once you've disabled the main cannon, you can then go and generally vector cannon its ballsack. And I really like the vector cannon. It's a good idea, and visually it looks great. And the one thing you need to bear in mind is this game came out like a long time ago now. I'm trying to think how old I was when this game came out. I think I was like 14, 15. It's a good 10 years. And stuff like this still looks good when you fire this cannon. It's still a cool idea. And it just goes to show that some games age extremely well. But change to your homing missiles. Spam a couple homing missiles to get rid of any enemies that are coming near you. The homing missiles are an insta-kill on effectively every small piece of infantry. Now, this is me having troubles with the lock-on. I'm trying to get the turret underneath it. I want it to hit me so you can see how much it does. Because I'm telling you, you do not want to fuck with those turrets. They are so... There you go, you see that? What was that, 2 bullets? Half-life. And they fire a lot, so you need to be extremely cautious of them, or they'll just clown you. But I was actually a little bit worried about this section because I remember struggling on it when I was younger. But the one thing you notice when you play this game on Extreme especially is how sharp you get when you play. And this happens with every game. look, if you record when you play, for instance, look at your first session, and then once you've beat the game a couple times, look at the difference between your playstyles, because you've learnt the game. Your hands and your mind and everything are working in tune, and you're just a much higher performance rate than you were when you first started playing. And I noticed it a lot on this playthrough, because I was extremely afraid of Anubis. The second fight of Anubis in the compressed Phobos cannon, sorry, before you go to Mars, not Mars, sorry, before you go to the moon, the Phobos moon. I know that's the most confusing sentence you've ever heard, but stick with me. That boss fight on hard, because I needed to beat the game to unlock extreme, and I started on hard. I was rusty, and that fight took me about 40 minutes. It might have took me a little longer, but I was getting destroyed because I just couldn't keep up with it. My finger was straining because I wasn't used to tapping the trigger this much. It was just a whole host of real bad news, and I really wasn't looking forward to it on extreme because I knew it was going to be a bitch. And when I got there, because of the struggle I've had through the game, and because of how sharp it's made me, with things like, you know, the clods in the Neath fight, and various other encounters, that stupid canyon with the 2 locks, and it had made me so sharp, my playstyle, or the way that I played and I approached things, that I ended up doing that Anubis fight on the second try. And the first try I just got really unlucky with the lock on. And it was simple, but I know it's not a simple fight, so it just goes to show, when you put the time in and when you're playing on this difficulty, you are getting better, even if you can't see the changes. And every so often there'll be a milestone where you really notice that you have improved. And it's a good feeling, because it means that, you know, you're overcoming, you're adapting, and you're becoming a better player. And I think that's the best thing about playing games on the harder difficulties. Sometimes, you know, you just want it to end. Sometimes you'll never touch it again. But every so often something will come along where you really feel the satisfaction of beating it. And this is definitely one of those games, because it's not easy, this game on easy. It's not easy on normal, because the AI and the enemies are still pretty crafty, and they do beat you up. It's just on this difficulty, it's ramped up to such an insane amount that you have to be prepared to almost break your pad in how frenetic and hectic you have to be with your button presses, because it sounds like a circus. I sound like a one-man band when I'm playing this game, because you're boosting all the time, you're attacking, you're trying to boost away, it's all really fast. It's pretty fun, and it's crazy, and yeah, I'm just happy I've done it, because there was a part of me that thought I couldn't do it. And anybody who's played this on Extreme, you'll understand why. It's something that I call the Ninja Gaiden 2 moment, where you kind of look at yourself in the mirror and you wonder, can I even do this? And you can, because like every other game, you can overcome, you just have to hit that sweet spot. It's just sometimes it can suck. It can suck a lot. And I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here, guys. I think I'm just trying to destroy some of the side cannons. Like this guy, I should have just fired a homing missile, but I believe the homing missiles are locking onto the wrong things. I'm probably being as careful as I can because of that turret just there. They do so much damage, and you'll notice there's a lot of enemies dropping sub-energy, but not many of them dropping Metatron, so you want to treat this entire section as one life bar. You don't get any heals. Even though you actually might get some, but, you know, just don't be liberal with your life. Try and keep it as high as you can. And look at that, that was silly, that. I was clearly hitting that. But whenever the ship puts its cannon in, you can't attack it. And I believe you can't attack the back core unless you disable the cannon, so something to bear in mind. Another thing as well, just because you've killed everything when you go down to use the vector cannon does not mean enemies won't spawn on you. So if you see Ada say, enemy reinforcements arriving, you have to stop the vector cannon or they'll combo you and they'll kill you. You can't just, grit your teeth and bear it. This is not normal. This is extreme. And these are the bits where I think this difficulty definitely falls down. There's no need for things to take this much damage. Don't get me wrong, I think the enemies should, and I think the damage that they do to you and the aggressiveness, I think all of that stuff is fine. But don't make it so that we have to hit something inanimate this much to destroy it. That I don't get at all. That's like making the driving sections difficult on the hardest difficulty, or the escort missions, making those harder. Because I don't see the point in making it that the escort can only take so many hits before they die. and I just think that's a little bit cruel. But, you know, what do I know? I'm just a dude who plays too much video games and talks about them on the internet to try and help people. But judging by the length of the video, this is probably the second to last of the battleships. And if this is the run I think it is, I thought I'd killed them all and there's one left and it tries to shoot at me. We'll soon find out. Just leveled up. Oh no, I'm on top of things, I'm on the ball. So yeah, this is the final airship. It has the most defences, the most turrets, you know, just the most bad news, but you've just done 4 of them, so by now you've probably got a good system working for you. Be as evasive as you can. Watch out for those yellow bullets that those turrets fire because they do some sick damage. Like, you get hit by one full barrage, gone. Game over. Good night. Now, the little phalanx bullets from the flanks, they're not as bad, but they still hurt. Like, everything hurts on Extreme. I suppose it lives up to its name, really. But I would have preferred if it had a special name, because I do enjoy games that take something from the fiction and then make it, you know, the difficulty name. Like, one thing that always stuck with me with this game is when Lloyd's talking about the performance of Anubis, and when you add the space compression, how it enables it to zero shift, and he's on about how he's always on this ultimate, you know, pursuit for performance, and ultimate performance is what I believe he calls it, which could be a name of a difficulty. It's not exactly rolling off the tongue, but it's still pretty interesting. There's a whole bunch of stuff. You could have had like Metatron difficulty, which makes it sound like a Transformer, but I don't know. Extreme to me will probably always only be Metal Gear Solid, because it's the first time I think I saw that difficulty. But it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Who's in charge of picking the names for something like that? Do you think that's a job? Or is that just some random thing that gets assigned later on in production? Because you'd be surprised what some people do as a job in any kind of production. Like assistants to people that assist. How good is that? Assistants to people who hold cables. Yay! I'm the cable holder's assistant. Some extremely strange things. And if anybody's listening who is in any kind of those establishments, yes, I would like a job. But, ooh, right there, just be careful. Do you notice how I went to use the Vector Cannon and got ambushed by the Raptors? Just disengage, fire out a couple of the homing missiles, and then get back on the job. Nice and simple. And then once you've done this, checkpoint and boss fight. And the boss fight coming up is Zakat. And I'm going to be doing my intro over a really important part of the video, which is the very beginning. So I'm going to give you a little tip now. At the very start of the Zakat fight, you can dash forward. And you can get inside his armor and attack him at the very beginning of the fight, but you need to be quick, and you'll strain your finger if you have to repeat it too many times, because it's ridiculous how much tapping needs to be done, and the trigger is not the easiest thing to tap. It actually takes finger muscle, which someone's going to misconstrue for something rude. But thank you for watching, and you take care now.